If you are a prospective home buyer, is now the right time to start looking? Here with some tips. We've got Matt Vernon, who is the Bank of America head of consumer lending. We tried to set the stage for you here, Matt, but is this the right time to really kind of look across the home buying market and know that as rates start to get cut, there could be more prospective buyers that also come off the sidelines?
Yeah, hey, Molly makes a great point. The market has definitely improved versus last year and even earlier this year. And in fact, I looked at rates this morning and a 30-year mortgage was at 5.75, the first time we've seen something with a 5 handle on it in anticipation of the rate cuts tomorrow. The simple answer to your question is it's a great time to buy when a consumer is ready, both financially and emotionally, and timing the market is never a good thing. The double-edged sword of rates coming down is that ultimately more competition from a buyer perspective will enter into the market, which then could make it even harder to get that home that you're looking for. So it's really all about the individual, the family, their goals, their life plan, and then ultimately jumping when they feel ready to do so emotionally and financially.
What does that signal to you about the pricing that we're going to see as well? I mean, I continue to look across survey after survey, data point after data point. Redfin, for instance, this morning saying U.S. home prices rose 0.5% in August, biggest increase that we've seen in 4 months. So that is just going into this cut. So what does that kind of signal to you about where prices will continue to move?
I think the key to what you just said, Brad, was 0.5%, right? That is a small number in the grand scheme of things, and it's certainly smaller than we've seen outside of the 4-month period that you talked about. The really good thing that we're seeing across the country, in particular in the Sun Belt states, that inventory is coming to the market. That has been our challenge with the lock-in effect in the industry, with the rates being where they are. But now we're seeing inventory come into the market. That helps buyers. It gives more choices. And ultimately, it begins to flatten out home prices, and affordability becomes more than it has been here in the recent past.
You know, when we think about where consumers are sacrificing part of the what they're looking for in their home in order to make sure that they're getting the right pricing or getting the right rate. You heard part of our other conversation about how people are going to lenders and trying to make sure that they can lock in a good rate, whether it be 15 or 30 here. What are the questions that they can be asking going into what is a negotiation table of its own?
Yeah, I think a really important aspect of home ownership is one, you don't wake up one day and say, I'm going to buy a home. You wake up with your family and you make a decision, and then you begin the process of home ownership, which includes the things that you're alluding to. One, seek the help of a professional, whether that's a real estate professional or a lending specialist at a local bank, to talk about your hopes, your dreams, your budget. And then that individual, in conjunction with the consumer, can help build a plan that helps achieve ultimately what that homeowner wants to achieve. And that's the size of home, the rooms, the cost, the area. And also good advice when you begin that journey is to have alternatives so that ultimately you don't make a bad decision jumping on a house that may be overpriced to just get that house versus, all right, I'm going to buy a house 3 houses down that might be a better deal ultimately. But it's really very personalized, very much about life priorities and goals, and ultimately what a consumer wants to achieve, and then the help of a professional in the real estate community or certainly in the lending community.
We were just taking a look at your 4 tips for potential buyers in a competitive market, and if we can toss those back on screen, I want to zero in on maybe 1 or 2 of these. One of them, keeping track of local market conditions, extremely important here. What do people need to keep in mind about that in the market awareness aspect?
Yeah, it's really what's going on from a speed perspective. Last year, right, you heard all about multiple offers, competitive environment, houses selling in a day. Those are the type of things that you want to keep track of with a real estate professional helping and supporting you that ultimately can help you bid when you want to bid on the house at the right time. So things like speed to sell, how long a home is listing, prices, are they selling at price more or less? Those type of things can help you make an informed offer at the right time for you and your family.
Matt Vernon, Bank of America Head of Consumer Lending. Matt, always a pleasure to speak with you. We'll have to get some more updates as we officially begin this cutting cycle. And we've gotten word here at Yahoo Finance that their meeting has already begun today, in their two-day FOMC meeting, and we'll see what that decision looks like tomorrow at the conclusion of it in the press conference. Matt, thanks so much for the time.
Appreciate you, Brad.